What's up, duelists? As many of you might know, there's a tournament coming up on the edisonformat.com Discord. I am planning on entering that tournament, so I've been testing a whole bunch of decks. I've been just practicing with a bunch of the random stuff in my builder, trying to find a deck I want to enter this tournament with. If you guys have any suggestions for decks that you think are bangers or whatever, let me know in the comment section below. I'm going to be playing a whole bunch of decks, reviewing the replays, trying to get as much competitive testing as possible before this tournament on September 4th. If you guys want to participate in this tournament, it's going to be free to enter. It's in the edisonformat.com Discord. You can join that in the description below. Before we get into things, I just want to say shout out to everyone who checked out the MBT video and shout out to all the new subscribers. You guys are the goats. All right, let's get into this. So this is the first match I played today against Jay Rudich. In this match, I'm playing a Quickdraw Cyber Valley deck. So I lose the rock, paper, scissors because of course. Because of course I lose the rock, paper, scissors. And he's playing a psychic deck. The reason I wanted to show this replay is because I think his deck is tight, actually. I think it's genuinely really cool. This card, Telekinetic Powerwell, has a lot of potential. Alright, so he starts off with Krebons. I don't have a great way to respond to that, unfortunately. I would be able to kill my opponent if they didn't have Krebons in play, but as of right now, I am just going to try to make a drill, poke them, and hopefully draw into something that can get me around this Krebons, more or less. I go down really low in cards here, but if you think about it, Gear Frame's +1, Avarice is a +1, Drill's coming back, that's a +1, I'm going to draw for turn. So I'm going to be at, like, technically 7 cards on my next draw step, but as of right now, it looks like I'm at 3 cards. They draw 1 for 1. They make a really weird play here, which at the time you can only see my hand. I'm like, why are they making this play? You'll see. 1 for 1, get Dr. Cranium, special summon the tokens from Dandelion. They make a level 5 synchro, and I'm like, did they just 1 for 1 -2 themselves into a magical android? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But after looking at their hands, it does make a lot of sense because they want to get this Telekinetic Powerwell online. If I were them, I would have summoned the Krebons before the battle phase to get that extra 1,200 points of damage. That extra damage does matter in this matchup, I think. They are going to summon it anyways, main phase 2, and they're going to be able to gain 1,200 life points in the end phase. So this is totally counteracting what my drill is doing and causing a lot of problems for me. I'm actually in a pretty bad spot here. Drill's going to come back. Awkward. I'm going to have to add back a Peacekeeper. I am still 2 monsters away from being able to do anything. I could have grabbed back Fortress here, but I can always get a Fortress off the Gear Frame, which is what I intend on doing right now. I go ahead and I pitch to special the Fortress. I equip to the Fortress to play around Mirror Force just a tiny bit. I have the drill to be able to attack directly. I run over the android and I attack for 1,200. However, I'm just kind of in a bad spot. Just not in a great spot. They have this card, which can destroy my dude, I think. Yeah, no, it can't destroy this because Gear Frame's protecting it, but it could destroy something in the future. I think he top decks a really nice out here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Foolish Burial. So this is really cool. This is a really, really cool showcase of what this deck is capable of doing. He's able to Foolish Burial, Psychic Jumper, and then he has the Telekinetic Powerwell, which is more or less a soul charge. And he's able to activate that, bring back all of his dudes. He can Psychic Jumper, give me this Cranium, and then attack over it in order to give himself a search and whatnot. He also makes a really heads-up play here, setting his cards before activating the Psychic Jumper, because this guy does target. He's like Tech Genis, that trap card from that era of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's his effect. It's not exact creature swap, because you can target the monster you want to take, which makes this effect actually a lot better, if you think about it. He's able to give me the Dr. Cranium, and then he's able to actually run over the Dr. Cranium, and because he did all of this without even using his normal summon, the monster he searches off of Dr. Cranium here, Overdrive Teleporter, he's able to summon in the main phase too. So he has a crazy turn. This is actually a really cool turn. I think this deck looks super cute. I kind of want to try it out in the near future. He's going to summon that, and then he's going to synchro off with that. If he had Gotems, he could have synchroed with our Fortress into Gotems. Unfortunately for us, we draw Trap Dusty, which is like the worst card in our deck. If we had even drawn a monster, it would have been okay, because we could have Avariced after adding something back with Drill. Like, we could like pitch something to Drill. As it stands now, we just have to special summon the Gear Frame, and then try to attack into the Stardust Dragon with limiter removal. Normal summon Cyber Valley, and hope that the Cyber Valley sticks around. But as you guys can see, he does have the Psychokinesis, so he's going to be able to pick off our Cyber Valley and kill us game 1. Game 2, I side in 2 Vanity's Fiend and 3 DD Crow. And I'm just like, I'm going to ride these to victory. I'll DD Crow his 2-star guys, and then the Vanity's Fiend will lock up his other plays, and hopefully that's good enough to win. You can see my opening hand here kind of sucks. These Tuningware cards, not the best. Gonna be real, not the best. DD Crow might have some potential later on. It's also a way we can get our Avarice online, and it's a way we can interact with like the reborn spells that we know the opponent is playing. I just summon Cyber Valley and pass. It's not a great situation. Here he asks if it has to be face up in order to activate and resolve, which it does. So he spends his Book of Moon to try and run it over. Generally speaking, I don't like using Book of Moon like this. I think denying me the draw is not necessarily worth losing your only piece of interaction. Your hand is kind of weak without Book of Moon. You don't have a lot of defense, so I think saving the Book of Moon here makes a lot more sense. He's going to normal summon Krebons, he's going to attack over the Cyber Valley, set the Call of the Haunted, and pass. On my turn, I just pick up Dandelion, which is a great draw, actually. It turns on the Debris Dragon, and it buys us a lot of time. He normal summons Dandelion, he makes Android. Android attacks into the Dandy. On our turn, we're going to make Stardust, because Stardust plus Double Crow seems like a good way to approach this matchup. And Stardust can also pretty effectively attack into the Magical Android here. Not the most effectively, but pretty effectively. We are able to clear that. End phase, they try to call the Android. We are going to chain the DD Crow. We did pick up Mirror Force too, which is a nice little plus. And it's also awkward for them. They have Treeborn in hand with this Call of the Haunted stuck in play. Dr. Cranium is the set. I wonder if I attack into that. I don't know if I do. I think I attack the 2 tokens. No, I do attack into it. That's a bit of a misplay. Probably should have attacked the 2 tokens instead. I wanted to attack into it in case it was this card here, Mind Protector. I just wanted to get that out of play so he didn't have an opportunity to make Bryonic. But now he's going to have an opportunity to make Bryonic nonetheless. On his turn, he picks up Mind Control. He makes this play, Mind Control the Stardust Dragon, and this is actually a play I wanted to talk about a little bit. I've seen this play trip up a lot of people too. I've seen people Mind Control Titanial, Mind Control Stardust Dragon, Mind Control Doom Caliber Knight. These are the 3 big ones that I've seen. But you can't actually tribute monsters once you've mind controlled them, even if the tributing is for the cost of an effect. So this Stardust Dragon's not going to be able to activate its effect once he mind controls it. The mind control is going to 1-for-1 trade with the Stardust and, kill it, but at the same time, he is going to make a suboptimal play because he believes he can activate the Stardust. He normal summons Overdrive Teleporter here. He pays 2,000. He gets his 2 3-star monsters. He synchros into the 9-star. He's trying to do some piercing and also gain some life, which is, a really good thing for this deck to do. I think getting that piercing damage in is a good place to be. In any case, unfortunate for him, I just have the Mirror Force, and that's gonna be pretty big. He tries to activate it. I say cannot. You used Mind Control. You cannot tribute the monsters you Mind Control. And I pick up a second DD Crow, which is just excellent because we have Pot of Avarice live now. I'm gonna activate that. Hopefully find the 3rd DD Crow. He said misplayed that hard. Yeah, it's one of those mistakes you make once. I do find both of my copies of Vanity's Fiend. I tribute summon one of them, attack for 34. This game's going to be wrapped up pretty shortly. We go into the next game. This game's a cool one. I get to showcase the power of Red Dragon Archfiend in this one. So he starts off. He does have his Soul Charge effect. He has Heavy Storm, Space Typhoon. These 2 cards not so good against my deck. If I were him, I actually would have sided them out. The only trap card you've seen this whole time is Mirror Force. Plus these Tuningware whatever type decks with Cyber Valley, Machine Duplication, they don't have a lot of room for trap cards. In my list, I believe I'm playing 4, one of which is Royal Decree. So Heavy Storm and Space Typhoon, not the best in this matchup. I pick up DD Crow, great card, great interactive card in this matchup. And I think I summon Cyber Valley and go for dupe. Yeah, that's what I do. Get out 2 more Cyber Valleys, these ones in defense position, in case there's skill drain, some random, you get what I'm saying. We go ahead and activate, banish both, draw 2, pick up a nice one. We actually pick up Quickdraw and Fortress. I pitch the Quickdraw to special summon the Fortress to try and run over this commander, and I believe it gets deprisoned, which is kind of sad, because I would have liked if that guy stuck around. In any case, he does spend his Book of Moon here on the Cyber Valley, which is, going to get us again, but it puts 1 card in the graveyard, which is actually a target for debris, and that does come up later. So, again, I like saving the Book of Moon for interaction. You can just clear this out of play. Yes, I do get a draw, but at the same time, it's out of play. And I don't know. I feel like you can save your Book of Moon. You don't have to spend it 1-for-1 with the Cyber Valley. In this instance, your position's actually pretty weak. I also don't like setting Space Typhoon here. I think because you do have the Treeborn Frog in your deck, you do have reasons not to have this back row locked. I think you should hold it in your hand. It also turns on my back row removal. Yes, you're probably happy if I'm using it on the Space Typhoon, but at the same time, I think just keeping it in your hand is better in this position. It's not really doing you any favors this way. I do elect to summon Gearframe, go get Fortress, and then... Or no, I get Peacekeeper. Yeah, that's actually a smart play for me. I get Peacekeeper because it turns on our whole hand. Basically, Peacekeeper is a live target for debris. Peacekeeper can get another copy of Gearframe. It's also pretty resilient into something like a Psychic Jumper setup that maybe they have here. I attack with Gearframe, they pay 500, and then I Limiter. They take another, I believe, 17 total, and in my end phase, the Gearframe dies. It is a bit of a 2-for-1, but I just needed to get the Psychic Commander out of play. Next turn, we could maybe go for something like just set Peacekeeper pass. That's what we're going to do. We picked up Sangan. It is a little bit awkward. We're going to see over the next few turns. Sangan and Debris, if I synchro with these two and make Black Rose would be mandatory Chainlink 2 because the way the rollings work in Edison format. Sangan would be mandatory Chainlink 1. So since Sangan is Chainlink 1, Black Rose is Chainlink 2, Peacekeeper would be destroyed in the middle of a chain, and it would actually miss timing, which is really fucking awkward if I synchro with Debris and Sangan to make Black Rose. So that's something I have to keep in mind over the next few turns. They pick up a copy of Psychokinesis. It is smart for them to hold it here. They actually don't use it. And it's smart because they know we have the Peacekeeper. I pick up another Peacekeeper, which is fine. I mean, it's just another little floating dude. And then Sangan is the set because I do kind of want to set up for the Black Rose turn if that's something I want to go for. They are playing the Lone Fires, which confuses me because they don't have Titanial here. They just have Dandelion. I feel like if you're playing Lone Fire, you got to have at least one dude. You got to at least have Mystic Tomato, or you got to at least have Titanial to go into. I think Lone Fire is not worth it for just Dandelion. We pick up Mind Control, and now I'm thinking, okay, if I summon Debris, bring back Cyber Valley, Mind Control the Dandelion, I can synchro into Red Dragon Archfiend. They're going to get 2 tokens. I can attack one of the tokens with Red Dragon, provided they don't have another D-Prison or whatever. I can nuke their whole board, and then I can get 1,500 damage in with my 2 Recruiters. If at any point I want to not attack with the 2 Recruiters based off of what's happened or what I've seen destroyed, I can let them die in the end phase and get my searches. So I think that's the play I go for here. Yep, I Debris Dragon. I accidentally misclick here, but yeah, we got to Mind Control that guy. And then we synchro into the Red Dragon Archfiend. Give him the tokens. Attack the token. Destroy all of the defense position monsters. And that's a huge swing for us because it just doesn't give him the cranium effect. And it gets rid of all of these blockers in my way. And I attack for 1,500. And as you can see, these DD Crows are going to put in a ton of work against this telekinetic power well because they have 2 targets and we have 2 crows. So there it is. They activate the power well. We chain double Crow, and I believe they concede. Yep. That was a cool game. I really like their deck. I like Telekinetic Powerwell. I think it's an underutilized strategy in Edison format. I'm probably going to be trying something with it in the near future, but I wanted to showcase this game because there was a lot of really cool little things. I think the Mind Control thing with the Stardust is important. I think the Red Dragon Archfiend, showing that power is pretty important, and I think showing off his cool deck is something cool. So GG's to Jay Rudich. The next game I want to show you is against Snowman Eater Jr. I believe he's playing Fairies, and I'm playing the same deck I was playing in the last game. This game, I want to talk about some of the decisions my opponent makes, which are very questionable. I do have a lot of hours with the Fairy deck, so I am a little bit harsher on the decisions made. Whereas, like in the last game, I can't really comment so much on how much misplays the Psychic player made, other than like basic stuff like leaving in Heavy Storm and Typhoon in the post-board games. But I can comment a lot more on the micro decisions in this. The first one is he's main decking Dust Tornado. I don't like Dust Tornado in this deck in the main deck. I think you can just play Dust Tornadoes in the sideboard. Game 1, part of the strength of the Fairy deck is that D-Prison and Bottomless Trap Hole are actually not that good against you. Bottomless Trap Hole doesn't hit Dialk or any of your Recruiters or most of your monsters, honestly. And then if they ever D-Prison or Bottomless you can just get it back with Dialk or Return or whatever. So I don't like this in the main deck of the Fairy decks. I think it's a poor inclusion. We do go first. Our hand is a little bit slower here. I summon Gearframe. I go and search the Peacekeeper, and then I pass. He finds Torrential Tribute, or no, he finds Herald of Mortality. He just sets Torrential, I believe, and passes. I don't know if we play into this. We do. We normal summon Peacekeeper, and he does elect to Torrential. But that's fine, because this Peacekeeper and this Gear Frame, like the Gear Frame got the Peacekeeper +1. So the Peacekeeper was free, and the Peacekeeper is going to replace itself with another Gear Frame. So we just got a solid +1 here. I actually don't like that Torrential from the opponent. I think it's a misplay. I think it's a really, really bad play to Torrential there. I think you just don't Torrential. If you are going to Torrential there, you have to consider maybe even heralding the Peacekeeper search, but I think it's just a bad play. And here we are up 7 cards to 5. We're able to Foolish Dandy just because I don't want to discard in the end phase, and I don't really want to summon Fortress right now. And I'm thinking right now to myself, what decks set Torrential pass? There's actually not that many meta decks that play Torrential in the format right now. The only two are like Fairies and Zombies, which is kind of weird. This card has fallen a little bit out of favor. Sometimes Vayu plays it, but it's very rare to see just a pass from Vayu. They have a lot of stuff they might want to set behind a Torrential. Same thing with Zombies. So I'm thinking it's most likely Fairies. They pick up Trap Dust Shoot. They're going to set that and the Dust Tornado. They're going to Dust Shoot us. They're pretty much forced to take the Gear Frame, which is fine. I mean, it happens. Unfortunately for us, it means our hand's kind of dead. We set our own Dust Shoot, and they do have Dust Tornado for it, which sucks, but hey, here we are. Here, they can summon the Nova Summoner and start poking the tokens. I believe that's what they do. And then they set Space Typhoon. So they know these 5 cards. They know the 5 cards to the left. They know Brain Control, Mind Control, Dupe, Fortress, Avarice. We top deck Mirror Force, so they don't know about Mirror Force. I shuffle my hand. I set a card here, and they end phase Typhoon. So knowing the cards that we have in our hand, end phase Typhooning isn't necessarily the best play. It ends up working out for him. But generally speaking, this Typhoon, this card is most likely a bluff. Given the composition of our hands, it is most likely a bluff. In my position, I actually probably should have set a bluff because, you know, you don't include Dust Tornado unless you're playing like other shit with it too. I don't know. I probably should have set 2 cards here. Probably like set Dupe or set Mind. In any case, he knows the rest of my hand now at this point in time. He hits the mirror, he knows the rest of my hand. He top decks DD Warrior Lady and immediately slams it into play. Now this is a really bad play. The reason it's a really bad play is because he fucking knows I have Brain Control. What are you doing? I am just going to Brain Control your DD Warrior Lady and try to clear your Nova Summoner. Like, yes, you're going to Herald, but now you're turning my fucking Brain Control into a 3-for-1. It's so bad. It's like so bad. And then on top of that, if you Herald the DD Warrior Lady, your return is no longer live. Here he makes a play where he just passes, of course. And now I'm just like, okay, I'll just Brain the DD Warrior Lady and attack the Nova Summoner. This is a really bad play, by the way. Summoning the DD Warrior Lady here, you don't need to do it. Just attack with Nova Summoner. Force me to do something about this Nova Summoner before committing the DD Warrior Lady. This is also a removal spell for the Fortress, which you know is in my hand. You want to wait till the Fortress hits play before using your DD Warrior Lady. This is just like a total misuse of his resources. And it ends up costing him 3 full cards here. He ends up heralding. The Nova does get destroyed by battle, I think, after some confusion. And he is going to bring out Dialk. But main phase 2, I'm just going to summon Machina Fortress. And I don't know what he's going to do about this. Our Pot of Avarice is also really close to live. If he kills the Fortress, then we get it back. He only has 1 card, 2 after the top deck to try and kill the Fortress. He picks up a Nova Summoner. And here, I'm like, okay, what would you set in this position? It's just Raikou, right? Like, it's just Raikou. He activates Dialk, banishes Thunder King, switches to defense, sets Nova. I'm like, what would you set in this position? You know I have Mind Control, but he knew I had Brain Control, and he played into that. So maybe he's not even thinking about my hand. I think it's Raikou, so I get a read that it's Raikou. If it was Nova Summoner, what you should do here is you should summon it, crash it, get Shining Angel, crash that, get DD Warrior Lady, banish the Fortress, attack directly with Alchemist. You know the last 3 cards in my hand. I can't deal with the Alchemist. I'm under a ton of pressure. My Fortress is banished. I only have 4 cards in my graveyard for Avarice. So I think the only thing that you would set here that you wouldn't crash is Raikou. And it ends up screwing me because I Mind Control the set monster. I'm like, why wouldn't you just crash here? So it's a weird play, right? Because it's a misplay. But the misplay ended up baiting our Mind Control. So it worked out kind of, sorta. I don't really know. I think it is still ends up being bad for him. Because now I attack the Alchemist. The Thunder King is going to get added to hand. The return is no longer live. It would have been very good next turn if he had, had the Alchemist still in play. The Thunder King is still banished. The DD Warrior Lady had banished the Fortress. So he has at least 2 monsters banished for his return. Like, positionally, you give me one turn, and then I die. I take 1800 on the last turn, I drop to 39, and if I have nothing on the next turn, this return straight up kills me. So, the fact that he set the Nova Summoner there, well, yes, haha, you baited my mind control, you lost the game because of, you didn't see the line, basically. So yeah, you definitely want to crash Nova, crash Shining Angel, get DD Warrior Lady banish, and then set up for your return. Like, he just didn't play to activate any of his hand this game. He didn't play to maximize the value of any of his cards this game, and it totally cost him. Here he picks up Honest, and it just makes like one of the most questionable plays I've ever seen in my life. First off, sets the return before the battle phase. I don't understand that. Second off, attacks with the Thunder King, still doesn't see the crash line, and then uses the Honest and goes down 2 for 1. I use the Fortress here to pop the Thunder King because I think it'll be easier to out the Nova Summoner than out the Thunder King. Although in hindsight, I probably should have popped the Nova Summoner. That's something that I need to keep in mind for the future. I pick up Battle Fader, which is not great, but my Avarice is now live. So I can finally Avarice. So that misplay earlier on cost him me being able to resolve this Avarice, just have a whole game, like actually be able to play this game. I pick up Debris, Machina, Peacekeeper, and that's pretty good for us. We're able to summon the Peacekeeper, activate Duplication, get these two. This is a cool play you can do with Peacekeeper Duplication. You equip one Peacekeeper to this one, and then the one that's equipped, you equip to the third one. And then that one falls off, and it gets you your search right away, which is what we're doing. Now I have this nice little wall that's going to search me more gear frames, and I'm going to pass the turn. He's going to attack this Peacekeeper. We're going to get another search for gear frame, and we're starting to really pull ahead this game. Return is completely dead. Again, I wouldn't have set the return at all. He has nothing banished. There's no reason to set it here. I also don't really understand the logic behind the plays leading up to this point. It's just, we should have lost this game 6 times over, and we didn't because of, like, you know, there's a bunch of little things, and they all add up when you're playing the fairy deck. So I find a Dandelion. I'm just going to set that and set up for a Debris Nuke. That's kind of my big plan here. I get 2 tokens off the top. I find Solemn, and I'm like, oh, Solemn's fucking nice. I'm actually just going to set that and pass. Next turn, I can nuke with Solemn backup, which is, like, incredible. Here, they find another DD Warrior Lady. This time, I no longer have brain control, so summoning it's not that bad. They're going to attack both tokens, clear both of them. And then on our turn, we're going to find Quickdraw, which is just an amazing draw. We're going to summon Debris, bring back the Dandy. They're going to try to book. We're going to Solemn. We're going to blow up the field. Unfortunately, because Dandy is Chainlink 1, Machina Peacekeeper is going to miss timing, which sucks, but hey, what can you do? We're going to get 2 tokens. We're going to be able to pitch the Tuningware for the Quickdraw, make ourselves a nice little drill, attack directly for 24, pitch Gear Frame, and banish the drill. They find Thunder King, but that's not going to do it. They're going to be able to attack our token. On our turn, we get Drill back. We add back Debris Dragon. Here, I activate the effect to have, playing around Honest, because if I attack into Honest, I immediately die. I attack for 1200. Here, they're basically forced to bluff Honest. They can't negate this Synchro, so I make Ancient Fairy Dragon in defense to try and turtle up, get 2 more tokens, and then I pitch the other Gear Frame to banish the Drill Warrior. Want to keep Battle Fader. I can always get the Gear Frames back if I need to, and they're not that great in the face of Thunder King anyway. So, tax the tokens, we pick up Giant Trunade. That's not really doing much. We grab a Dandelion, hit for 12, go ahead and pitch the Dandy. Then I think we just pass. Yep, they pick up Royal Oppression, which would be really good against us. They can set that and negate the drill coming back, right? But they don't. Why? What? Why? Like, if you just set that, you can negate the drill, and then I'm in a bad spot. Like, I just have to pass. I can't play into Honest. What the fuck? I'm not even noticing that he had a Royal Oppression in his hand here. Okay, that's really tilting. Okay, yeah, so this was just a messy game from the opponent. This game was really messy. In any case, I ended up winning because we have the Decree now in the end phase, and that just wins us the game because we can go double drill and attack directly with both. Game 2, I believe I lose. I lose after a sequence of really unfortunate events due to a very powerful trap card. but also a little bit of a misplay on my part. I'm going to be honest. Here I go ahead and set Sangan, set Solemn. Unfortunately for us, they are, I believe, going to blind Typhoon. No, they don't do that yet. We go ahead and grab Cyber Valley. That's going to be a combo with our dupe and our mind control, which is great. They set a monster and pass. Now I have a bit of an issue here. I could mind control the set monster. I'm like, what would they set here and not summon? They have an active card for Dialk. So again, I'm thinking they would set Raikou here. Why would you not set Raikou here? If you set Raikou, like, because anything else, basically anything else in the whole deck, DD Warrior Lady you'd summon. Fucking Shining Angel you'd summon. Everything else you would summon here. Because the Dialk is live. So even if you play into a sweeper, like Mirror Force Torrential, whatever, even if you play into that, you're floating back the Dialk. So it's only a 1-for-1 trade. It's only 1-for-1 trade. And you're fine with that 1-for-1 trade. Because then you get 2 lights, which are both fairies, into the graveyard. You get to add back Freed, which can pop stuff. And it's just fine. I mean, you're just in a good position. Raikou can maybe set up for your Christia. So I'm thinking, it's got to be Raikou, right? So I go ahead and go for the Cyber Valley machine dupe. I have Solemn to back this up in case of, you know, whatever fucking Royal Oppression stuff. I mind control the set monster and I flip it and I'm like, fuck, it's Angel. In this instance, I would have much rather used the mind control to take the Dimensional Alchemist. Not only is Dimensional Alchemist more pressure, but Dimensional Alchemist can also just become this Shining Angel later since we are going to banish it. I activate Cyber Valley, banish both. I draw Royal Decree, Machine of Fortress. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Maybe I can try and find another machine. I find another machine. I'm like, oh, that's kind of tight. Unfortunately, I already did normal summon this turn, so I can't normal summon the Gear Frame, but I can pitch Fortress for Fortress and run over the Dialk. He is able to grab Shining Angel, and I'm like, well, he didn't see the Crash Line last game, so what are the chances he sees the Crash Line this game? I also have Solemn to stop the Angel, and I should be okay. I'm going to set the Decree for his back row in case it's something crazy, and then I'm going to pass. Now, at this moment in time, I could have activated Zombie World, and I probably should have. This is probably my biggest misplay this game. I think just activating this ensures that even if he does Crash Angel, even if he is able to force that through somehow, that he can't actually Christia me. Once Christia hits play, my deck has like very few outs. It has Mind Control, which is fucking gone. It has Brain Control, which is, you know, okay, I have Brain Control. And then it has Mirror Force, which, you know, I don't have. So I have very few outs to Christia once it's in play. And Machine of Fortress popping it is not great because it just puts it back on top. But at the very least, maybe I can pop it, put it back on top, and then activate the Zombie World and try to make something happen. They activate Heavy Storm. I Solemn. They activate Typhoon. That sucks. They summon Shining Angel. They crash. And I'm like, wow, they see the Crash Line this game. Why didn't they see it last game? I don't understand. It lost them the game last game, but they figured it out somewhere in between games. The human brain never ceases to amaze me. They go ahead and make this play where they grab Nova instead of grabbing DD Warrior Lady. What I would have done if I was them is I would have gone Shining Angel into Nova into Angel, grab DD Warrior Lady, banish the Fortress, main phase 2, Special Christia, add back Dialk, and then you're in a commanding position. This line is okay, I guess, because it does end with Honest and a live Herald in hand, but the Herald would have been live because you're adding back the Dialk anyway. Honest doesn't really matter because nothing runs over Christia that normal summon, so it's a big misplay, and then also it forces you to Herald the Fortress awkwardly. If I have like a Raikou or something after that, it's just really awkward. I think just getting DD Warrior Lady and banishing the Fortress is a much safer bet. Unfortunate for us, they do just have, you know, everything they need. We top deck Space Typhoon, which is nice. I go ahead and Space Typhoon their back row. And then here I switch my Fortress to defense. They set a Raikou. They don't attack into it. I think at this point, what are you doing? Just summon Alchemist, attack into it. If I pop, you just Herald, and then I lose. Like, there's no reason to go for this super convoluted slow play on these cards. There's none. There's none, pretty much. Here I try to crash. They have the Herald, and that's going to be game, unfortunately. Going into game 3, we've got a little bit of an adjustment to our sideboarding plan, and we've actually got a great opening hand. We got 1-for-1 Dandy, which in this deck is pretty much Pot of Greed, kind of. It's like a weird draw 2 sort of thing. We foolish another Dandy, you know, just trying to get it out of the deck before we draw 2 cards, because I didn't want to draw into it. We have Brain Mind, which are both our outs for Christia, and then we're able to summon Gear Frame and go back up to 6 cards, which is nice. I think this hand is just very good. Of course, it is awkward if they have recruiters. They can crash into the Gear Frame at very low opportunity cost. They're only taking 400 for each crash, but I think it's okay. Instead of crashing, they elect to attack my token. I think with the composition of their hand, crashing is actually much better. They probably should have crashed this a few times, you know? Just get a few of your recruiters in the graveyard, get some lights in the graveyard for your Freed, for your Christias, thin the deck. You know, get set up. There's no reason not to make this play now. So it's kind of weird. They saw the play in game 2, they figured it out, and then they forgot it before game 3. I don't understand why. It's very good here. That's the kind of the point of these cards, is that they make your deck very consistent. And this is one of the best opportunities you're going to get to crash these. So at this point in time, it's crazy because I was recording this game while I was playing it live. I actually said that his back row was Solemn Judgment, Dust Tornado, and a Sweeper. And I said it out loud, and I pointed to the exact ones, which is kind of crazy. I'm normally pretty spot on with my reads, but in this one instance, I was dead on, and it was kind of crazy. Here I Brain Control. They think for a minute. They let that resolve, which, dude, you can't let that resolve. You can't let that resolve. That's your ticket out of this situation. That's what's getting you out of here. We go ahead and hit for 32. Put him hella low. And now crashing is like looking very not happy. We sack for the Vanity's Fiend. They're forced to Solemn, and I'm like, that's 1 out of 3. And then I think I set something later on to bait the Dust Tornado. I don't know if I do it this turn or if I do it on a later turn. They go ahead and set the Raikou. Oh, I pick up Heavy Storm. Never mind. I just Heavy Storm them. I'm thinking of a different game. Yeah, Heavy Storm, and then I'm like, oh my god, did I actually get it right? And then I did. I predicted all 3 of them correctly. It was kind of funny in the moment, but hey, here we are, Mind Control, and then flip this, pop itself for no reason, and then summon the Fortress off the tokens to attack for lethal. And that's that match. I think things would have gone a little bit differently had he played this a little bit differently. Maybe Solemn the Brain Control, maybe had some stuff like that. But all things considered, Dust Tornado in against this deck, not the best. Solemn Judgment, sometimes a double-edged sword. Not crashing when you get the opportunity, it's going to cost you matches. It definitely cost him game 1. Okay, next match. This match is against Caius. I am playing, I believe... I don't know what I'm playing against Caius. Ancient Gears. So I'm playing Ancient Gears against Caius. I really like the Ancient Gear deck. I think it's very fun. It's probably one of my top contenders to bring to this tournament on the 4th of September. Opponent is playing Dimensional Fissure nonsense. That's how I can describe it. This game doesn't go well. I'll just say it. I pick up Heavy Storm after setting 2 trap cards, and I'm like, that's awkward. They go ahead and set their cards, and yeah, we kind of get beat the fuck up this game. I summon Peacekeeper, I summon Fortress, hoping to proc a Sweeper for our Starlight Road, but they just have Bottomless for our Fortress, and now the hand is just, it's terrible. I attack into a Spy, I take 15. It's really gross, and they top deck Spirit Reaper, and it just... It's not a good look, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a good look. I mean, we're still in it at this point, but they hit the Heavy Storm, and then I'm like, all right, maybe the Morphing Jar can do something, but by the time the Morphing Jar matters, we have lost too many life points. Here we play into the Sweeper. I'm like, fuck yeah, we get a road, and then they have the Bribe, of course, which is just lovely. Just lovely. Gonna pitch that to bring back the Fortress, but as you can see, there's a nice little Brain Control in their hand, and there's not much we can do from this point. Brain Control Cyber Valley is a combo I've been loving in this format lately. I think it is insanely underplayed. I think Cyber Valley in general, it makes best use of Mind Control and Brain Control, which I think are 2 very, very nice cards in the format. Definitely cards that I want to be exploring more. My actual list that I think my number 1 pick for my list right now, which I'm not going to be leaking in this video, but my number 1 pick for this is a deck that does play Cyber Valley and Brain Control and Mind Control, and I think this card is very good. It makes decks like hyper consistent. Here they revealed D-Fissure. They honestly didn't need to, because we're just fucking dead to anything. They top deck Caius. They actually misplay by targeting their Caius. They should have targeted their Spy or their Spirit Reaper. Like, the fuck? Obviously, target one of the other ones, play around bottomless, but yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. They just attack with Spy and we're dead. Unfortunate. Brain Control, very powerful. Yu-Gi-Oh card. Game 2, Ancient Gears. This is the strength of Ancient Gears, is that your threat is actually a spell card, not a monster card. So as you can see, I have a very spell-heavy hand. I'm like, oh, I'll just set Torrential if they try to do anything like summon Reaper or whatever. They have Trap Dust Shoot, but I'm like, heh, motherfucker, what are you going to Trap Dust Shoot? What are you going to take? You can take the Gear Dragon? Be my guest. Be my guest. So here I go Terraforming into Gear Town. I go ahead, Gear Town into the guy. They bottomless. We are able to chain Torrential, clear their Spy out of here. Get that shit out of my face. Go ahead and Terraforming for another Gear Town. Activate that bad boy. Go get ourselves an Ancient Gear boy. Attack for 3k and pass. Set up both of our cards. This is to play around spot removal plus Spirit Reaper. If they want to heavy storm us, we have a Gear Town, so at the very least we'll be getting a Gear Dragon into play. They go ahead and smashing our dude, set their Spy. They've drawn all 3 Spy, which is kind of funny. I fucking hate Gravekeeper Spy in this format. I think it's so bad. You always draw multiples, and even when it does resolve, it's not even that good. We pick up Megamorph. Megamorph's a fire-ass card. Set that again to play around Spirit Reaper. I still don't know what they're playing, but I'm assuming it has a lot of like hand poke shit just because of the configuration of their deck. Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, Spy attacks for 12. That's fine. I brain the Spy. I sack it for the Gear Dragon because Gear Town makes the Gear monsters 1 less tribute. We attack over the 3rd Spy. We're able to clear their whole board with 1 card, which is very nice. On their turn, they have Defissure Smashing, which is fine. They normal summon the Valley, and I'm like, that's cool. I pick up Ancient Gear Guy, not Ancient Gear Guy, Machina Guy, and then I'm able to clear the Valley. They have to respond to this guy, or else he is going to kill them. They activate it. They draw into Return plus Dark Bribe. Neither of those are going to do fucking shit. I go ahead and attack for 18. They take it. I go ahead and set the Mirror Force and pass. They set the Mirror Force. I attack with Gear Frame. We go to damage. He takes the damage. I limit a removal in the damage step. He tries to Mirror Force, but if you've already taken the damage, then that means that you're going to the damage step. You've passed the activation moment for this. He could Dark Bribe this limit removal. He could do it, but instead he just concedes. So we go to game 3. Nice one. That was a nice one. That was a nice victory. Nice dub for the Ancient Gear boys. And this hand is just really solid. We've got one of our pump spells. This deck reminds me of Infect in Magic the Gathering because you have Megamorph, you have limit removal, and you have like, I think Magic Cylinder, which are just like fucking cheese cards. They're like Become Immense. Like, you just hit for 1,000,000 points of damage. It's so much fun to play this deck. I love this deck so much. Okay, we're going to Gear Frame, go get the guy. Keep it simple. Just Gear Frame attack. You know how we played this deck. Just attack with the boy. Threaten everything. End phase, they Typhoon us. They have a Return, which looks pretty bad here. They have a Mind Control, but they don't have Cyber Valley to convert. They have Cyber Dragon, and they have Ryza. So on their turn, they could Cyber Dragon Ryza us, but Ryzaing a Gear Frame's not really the best thing you can do. They are going to Cyber Dragon. They're going to Contact into Chimera Tech and attack us for 2,000. This does turn on our Megamorph if that's something we want to go for. They set Dark Bribe. We pick up Dust Tornado. I'm like, I can't really afford to commit too much into this back row, so I'm just going to T-set. I'm going to set the Peacekeeper, set the Dust, and pass. On their turn, they could summon the Ryza, but they get really fucking greedy. They normal summon Spirit Reaper, and this costs them the game. All they had to do was tribute for Ryza. That's all you had to do here. And don't get greedy. That's all you got to do. Just don't get greedy. That's the issue. Okay, this guy adds Gear Frame, and then he attacks for 300. I think this hits something innocuous. It hits the Fortress, which doesn't matter. At this point, we can normal summon the Gear Frame, and we have lethal because we're at lower life points. So we can summon 2 copies of Machina Fortress, one with the Gear Beast and the Fortress being pitched from hand, and then one with the Gear Dragon to bring back the one in grave. This is going to be lethal damage over the Spirit Reaper. Oh shit, accidental zoom. It even happens in the replay reviews. You see it, you have to sub. That's how it goes. Okay, next game. That was a fun one. GG's. Okay, this game is against Albie. I don't remember what I'm playing in this one. I'm playing 50 card Quickdraw. And the reason I'm playing 50 card Quickdraw is because I am sick of drawing fuck-ass Titanial. That's it. I set Dandelion and I pass. He has both Dark Bribe and 7 Tools in his main deck. I think both of these cards are bad, So that's just my opinion on both of them. I would never be caught dead with either of these in my tournament decks. Ew, that's cringe. Couldn't be me. I said Dandy first because oftentimes people will read a set Raikou lone and like summon something else into it. He just sets 4 and I'm like, oh, that's annoying. But I have the tools to play through it. Raikou Caius does a great job into back row. So here I just set Raikou and I'm like, chilling. He picks up Heavy Storm, which is hilarious. That same thing happened to us in a previous game where we set multiple back row, then top decked Heavy Storm like a fool. Like a fool. Yeah, maybe a reason not to set this many back row. He's going to normal summon the Blizzy. Blizzy attacks the token. He's going to use the Icarus to pop the other two, and then Sirocco direct. That's a pretty good play, but at least we cleared the Icarus with just a Dandy and a Raikou, and I'm also cleared a Blizzy too, so I'm pretty happy about these 2 high-value cards getting traded for our 2 low-value cards here. On our turn, we're able to pick up Torrential. I'm like, oh, that's pretty fucking good. Let's go ahead and just set the Tomato and set the Torrential and pass. On their turn, they find their Torrential, another card I'm not a fan of in Blackwing. So 3 cards I'm not a fan of in the Blackwing deck, and all 3 of them look pretty mid here. Attacks the Tomato. Tomato's going to find Sangan. Of course, they set the Torrential. On my turn, I pick up Raikou. I normal summon Debris Dragon here because I'm like, I'm going to Black Rose nuke, and there's nothing you can do about it. If they oppression the Debris effect, then I can chain Torrential and at least get, you know, some Sirocco out of here. You get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I'm losing my words. Here they Torrential on the Dandy summon because otherwise they lose to the fucking Black Rose and they lose their own monster. And this is why Torrential's so bad in this deck is it like cucks you. It just like kills your own fucking monster. It's so bad. We get nice little search and some tokens. And we're just in a great spot. 5 monsters engraved for this Avarice, which we don't even play now. Oh, we don't play it yet. I can still keep playing this turn. I know he doesn't have oppression. He would have used it there, so I go for the quick draw. Pitch Dandelion, get 2 more tokens. Everything is just coming up dandy. You know what it is. We make Drill Warrior. We attack. I think he has a removal for it. Mirror Force, yep. I try to Avarice, but he Dark Bribes it. And I'm like, all right, now you have 2 cards and I have 3 tokens and I'm drawing to 4, so that's pretty fucking good. It finds Bottomless. That's it. Passes. So here I actually want to talk about this a little bit. I know this back row here, the 7 tools, I know that's not Bottomless because they would have Bottomless the Drill. They would have saved the Mirror Force. I think the Mirror Force is a little bit higher value against this plant deck because it can hit like, what's the guy? I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't have saved the Mirror Force. But I think, generally speaking, you want to Bottomless the Drill Warrior, pretty much. You want to Bottomless it when it comes out. I don't know if they would have Bottomless it, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. If they had Bottomless Mirror Force, would they have Bottomless it? Mirror Force you can save for Titanial. That's the reason why I like Mirror Force. But Bottomless, it's the same. It's the same because it can Bottomless Titanial too. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I just think the upside of Mirror Force is that it can hit multiple things. Like if I go Lone Fire, Titanial with the tokens, then Mirror Force is better. So I'm assuming because Mirror Force is like slightly better, it has equity as a sweeper, that they would have used Bottomless if they had it because it's like spot removal. That's my thought process on why this isn't a Bottomless trap hole. I know there's another reason why you would want to save Mirror Force there. It's just escaping me a little bit. So yeah, I do Caius target the old set because I have the read that that's not Bottomless, and I do get the 50-50 correctly. It's not a true 50-50 because, again, I think they would have Bottomlessed the Drill Warrior if they had it, but I'm not 100% on it. On their turn, they draw Bora, they set Heavy Storm and pass. I think this is just a terrible play. Just cast the Heavy Storm and attack a token. Don't get too cute. Like, this is... People talk about pro storms. Let's talk about the amateur storm. This is the amateur storm. When you're behind on position, you need to make something happen. You need to start applying some pressure. I have a back row. Just clear with the Heavy Storm. If I had more back rows, I would have set him last turn. Even if I draw another back row and set it, you're getting a +1. It's not... You're going to go behind in position, and then also you're exposing yourself to another Caius. So it's just... And it's going to get Caius. So it's... Yeah, it's not a good look. Not a good look on the storm there. Setting it, you're getting too cute, bro. You're getting too cute. Rolling, not the worst, but I just let it happen. I'm like, what could you do? The only thing I care about, like, if you get Kalut, okay, the Kalut trades with the Caius, that's fine. I have Hamster, you can't get through that. I have Torrential, if anything goes too bad. If you grab Blizzy, I have Crow. This doesn't matter, I don't need to Torrential this. They just attack the token, I'm like, sure. On my turn, I pick up Lone Fire. Best draw in the deck. Make Titanial. and then we attack. And that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Crow the Blizzy, win the game. That's how it goes. They pick up Kalut. Don't matter. Don't matter. DD Crow that. Now what they should do is they should attack the Caius and use the Kalut, but they are playing around too much because they didn't use the Heavy Storm on this back row. And yeah, I mean, it's just easy. 50 card quick draw, baby. This deck is interesting. It's citing a lot of 3-ofs because you need to see your sideboard cards, and it's harder to see sideboard cards than 50 cards. So it's like 3 Snowman, 3 Dust, 3 Vanities, 2 Cyber Dragon, 3 Kaiku, I think. And then 1 other card. It's like a Lightning Vortex or something. I don't remember. We'll see if it comes up. But yeah, basically I just sided in the 3 Dust and the 3 Snowman. This game is tough. As you can see, their hand is got the sauce. It's got the deck dev. It's got the Royal Prussian Solemn Judgment to back it all up. And then they find Brain Control. If I'm playing against Quickdraw, I actually like siding out Brain Control a lot. The way they kill you is they have set monsters, which you can't Brain Control, Drill Warrior, which you can't Brain Control, and Titanial, which you can't Brain Control. So I actually think Brain Control is pretty bad against the Quickdraw deck in general. You probably want to be siding it out. That's just my opinion on it. Here they set the Blizzy, and then they set all these other cards. I don't like setting Blizzy here. I think it's bad. I don't think you should set this. He's hoping to get an end phase Icarus, but what are you hoping to end phase Icarus? If I T-set, are you going to hit the monster? Are you going to risk going into Dandelion? I guess maybe because you have Oppression, but what if it's Sangan? You know what I mean? Like, what if it's fucking... I don't know. One of the other cards I don't mind getting Icarus here. I think Blizzy has a lot more value if you can, like, summon it, attack with it, poke with it, at least get a battle phase out of it. The way things stand now, I can just summon my Sangan. Another reason to summon Sangan here is it's better to get Sangan in play than Mystic Tomato, because Sangan means if you get deck dev'd, you at least get a search. So that's why I've summoned Sangan. I also have Torrential Tribute, which combos with Sangan. So there's a couple reasons here why I want to summon Sangan. I just set the Torrential and I pass. They draw Mirror Force, another bad card against Sangan. They set that and they pass. I draw Deep Prison. I'm like, all right, I don't need to do anything else. I'll just keep attacking. They have to deal with Sangan. They find Bora. I'm like, all right, fair enough. We'll Torrential. We'll go get our search. I do have a read that their last card is Blizzy. It's an incorrect read. The reason I read that is because they set Blizzy turn 1. And the only reason you do that is if you had 2. Otherwise, it's just a strict misplay. We search Hamster here, which is maybe not the best thing to search because into 5 back row, there's almost guaranteedly a Royal Oppression. We do pick up Dust Tornado. I am going to summon the Tomato, try to attack. They Mirror Force this. I'm going to set all 4 of my back row. No, just 3 of my back row. And this is actually a misplay. I should have just set Bottomless and Dust. So I end up losing my Deep Prison here, which I think costs me quite a bit. They're able to Dark Eruption, go into the whatever. I try to Bottomless the Bora, but they do the thing. They have a Blizzard in play, but it's like bugged for some reason. They chain Icarus, I chain Dust, I hit their whatever. Why is it bugged like that? What is going on? Okay, I gotta refresh this. I gotta refresh this because it's bugged. God damn it. Dueling Book replays, they be breaking sometimes. This is game 2, right? Yeah, next game. Okay, cool. Where were we in this game? Let's see. It'd be unfortunate if this game bugs because I actually really liked this game. That was a cool one to cover. So yeah, we got this. Sangan attack. We covered all this. Just gonna go through it real quick. Yeah, Sangan's good. This card's busted. It's limited for a reason. I don't know if I should have Torrentialed there. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's correct. Just to keep the monster out of play so they can't Icarus my next play. Okay. Grab the Hamster. We covered all this. Here we go. Tomato attack. They force. Blah, blah, blah. Set the cards. They pick up Dark Eruption. I'm like, ooh, Dark Eruption's a cool tech. That's a card I actually do like in Blackwings. That's a tech card that I think is actually fire. I think some of these other techs, mid. But this one is quite fire. They add back the Blizzy. It's going to be bugged. Unfortunate. That sucks. They have a Blizzy in play. They're going to Icarus the other 2 back row. I shouldn't have set the Deep Prison. That's a mistake, basically. I'm going to Dust Tornado, especially because I had the read that they had another Blizzard. They didn't, but they top decked one. The Dust Tornado is able to hit their Solemn, and then we're going to set our cards. And or I'm going to set the Deep Prison. They're going to attack me with this Blizzard. This Blizzard's going to deal me a shitload of damage over the course of this game. I set Starlight, set Hamster. I'm like, maybe they don't have another Icarus. Hoping, pretty much. Praging. They make the correct play, not attacking. On my turn, since my Dust Tornado is gone, I can't really afford to flip Hamster into Oppression. I probably should have just sacked it for Caius at this point. Something to keep in mind. Actually a misplay. go ahead and set the book. They top deck another Blizzy. They Whirlwinds. They Blizzy. And now I'm just like fucked because they can make Bryonic. They can do all this shit. They end up making Armswing, which is just fine, I guess. It lets them activate their deck dev. And since we only have one monster in play, we can't Starlight Road it. And we're just like, fuck. I think we lose to the deck dev this game. We take 13 from the Blizzy that is glitched and in the graveyard. Man, Dueling Book really be on some shit. Next turn, we top deck Plague. We mill it. On the next turn, I have a questionable play. I top deck a Bottomless Trap Hole, and I could have stacked for Plague and tried to Caius them. They do end up having Royal Oppression anyway, but I just set the Bottomless because I'm like, I can't afford them having another normal summon, and I don't want to spend book on a normal summon. I know the set card is Value. Here they flip the Value, and then they attack with the Value. I do deprison the Value. I need to get that gone because they have an Armswing in the graveyard, so I need the Value to be gone so they don't get value out of it. That's why I didn't deprison the Blizzard on the last turn as well. So I deprison the Value. The Blizzard attacks me for 1,300 from the graveyard, which is hella Mimi. Fucking cursed. I do pick up Lone Fire off the deck dev, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm dead. I take 13. I draw. It's Mark of the fucking Rose, baby. The tech of the fucking century. I love this card in Quickdraw as a one-of. I think it's a fire one-of. I'm like, you can include a copy of Snatch Steal in your deck if you want to. Why would you not want to? Run that shit, baby. I'm like, fuck yeah, Mark of the Rose. Let's go. So I Mark of the Rose, take his guy, sack it for the Caius. Now the broken Blizzy's finally out of play. I target the Black Whirlwind, and then they chain Bottomless. I'm like, fuck. I'm probably going to lose this one. I chain Book to try and save my Caius because I'm like, I just need this guy to stick around. I need a threat. I have Bottomless to stop their next normal. Hopefully my Caius can just chill out. They top deck Mind Crush, and I'm like, fuck, dude. That's crazy. I flip Caius. They have Torrential, and I'm just like, fuck. I lose my Caius. They top deck Dark Bribe. They set that bad boy. I top deck Titanial, and I'm like, dude, you play 50 so you don't draw Titanial, and I still draw it. Unfortunate. Pick up Mind Control. At this point, I probably could have stacked for Plague. Again, though, they can always Oppression it and just put us in a bad spot. They find a lure. They're able to banish the Stroko. And then you can see why Brain Control is fucking terrible in this matchup. Also, another thing is, because they had this Brain Control, they could have just let the Caius hit them, and then Brain Control it and go for game. So I don't really understand them. I don't really understand the opponent. Transmigration, let's just go to the next game. I lose that game. Spoiler alert, I lose it because I drew fucking Caius Mind Control Titanial, and you get the idea. In any case, in this game, we find some of our tech cards. We find the Treeborn and the Cyber Valley, as well as the Starlight Road. And Deprison. We're going to set Treeborn, set Deprison, and pass. He finds Black Whirlwind. He's going to normal summon Kalut and go get himself the Gale, because he wants to turn one deck dev us. Now, this isn't bad. But it's not, like, insane or anything, right? Like, you're spending both your cards here. The Black Whirlwind's essentially a -1. Deck Dev's essentially a -1. So it's a 3 for hopefully 3, and it's not even going to be a 3 for 3 because the Treeborn has value in the grave, basically. So I don't know how good this is, honestly, if I'm going to be real. He goes ahead and deck devs us now. We pick up our super spicy Mark of the Rose tech, which combos well with the Cyber Valley tech that I have. I have 1 and 1 of each in this list. Maybe I'll showcase the list of this after this replay. It's too much work. This video is already going to be long. I've still got another 3 replays to go through. They find Blizzy. They're going to summon the Blizzy. They're going to activate Whirlwind, go get value. They're going to make a Catastor, and they make a critical error. They know my hand from deck dev, so they should just let this deprison resolve. They attack with Ally of Justice Catastor. I deprison. They're like, I must Dark Bribe you. I must do it. And yeah, Dark Bribe does have value while I'm under Virus. Sure, it's fine to protect your Ally of Justice Catastor. But look at what you have, bro. None of this shit deals with the gores that you know about. So you can't really afford to Dark Bribe this, because now I'm going to take 2,200 and I'm going to drop a gores, and you're going to be fucked, because all of your cards just lose to gores. So, critical misplay. Absolutely thrown. I know he does play Torrential because I saw it in game 1, so I don't bring back Treeborn Frog here. I reveal the Wind Blast, and I'm just like, yeah, this game's fucking over. Like, there's nothing he can do at this point. Like, Gores plus these 3, like, even if he finds Icarus to try and deal with the Gores, we can Starlight Road that, and then if they have Oppression on top of that, we can dust that. So it's just like, it's just so much, like, on top of all this. Here I do make a little bit of an error. I probably should have dusted one of these back rows in the draw phase. Just to get it out of play. That's the big issue. But, you know, hey, it happens. He sets the value instead of going for Dark Eruption. It makes sense, but yeah, I guess it makes sense. We draw. This is turn 2 out of 3. We find Dandelion, and here's just another, I think, error from the opponent. He flips Royal Oppression. I'm like, Royal Oppression is not good when you're losing. it doesn't help you stay. Like, give me the Dandelion. The Dandelion tokens don't matter, but having this face up means all of a sudden now you can't synchro. You can't synchro to beat my board, so you can't make a Goyo Guardian. You can't do some of the stuff that you want to do. So, yeah, it's gonna fuck up my opponent. Also, hitting a plant was super nice because it turns on our Mark of the Rose. So, yeah, we attack over the value, and I'm like, all right. Still, at this point, I probably should have dusted his back row just to get it out of play while he has no wing beasts. Misplay on my part. I'll know better in the future because I should have thought this motherfucker's playing Dark Bribe, Solemn, and 7 tools. Dust it now so that your Wind Blast will resolve. That's my thought process on all this. He Dark Eruptions, goes and gets Gale. Normal summons Gale. I'm like, alright. Has the Gores. Critical mistake. You have to have the token here. Definitely have to have the token. Actually, I guess you have to have the Gores because the Gores gets over all your stuff and you just die. But yeah, if you don't have the token, then you just lose to the cards you know about. So it's going to bring back the Armor Master. And because the Royal Oppression is face up, he can't special the Bora and Black Rose nuke me. So this is pretty much going to be a wrap. We Wind Blast the Armor Master. He's forced to Solemn. He drops to 900. And now that's the game because he's attacked the Gores. And the token is 22. It's just big enough to attack over Gale for lethal. Shows me the Bora. I'm like, yeah, I'll just negate that with Oppression. And then I say preemptive GG's because I was feeling it after that game. Okay, next game is against Kagapai 10. This game is... I don't remember this game, actually. What was I playing? Oh, this game I'm playing Quickdraw Diva Hero. Or Quickdraw Hero Monarch, I think. Yeah, Quickdraw Hero Monarch. No Diva. No Diva. Just Quickdraw Hero Monarch. And I have a pretty solid opening hand. I have Stratos Windblast, which is this format's nut start, pretty much. I go ahead and just set that and pass. Kagapai's on Blackwings, as you can see. Our hand is super resilient to all of this shit. He goes ahead and just sets some back row and passes. I top deck Book of Moon. He's going to dust shoot us. He is going to take the Malicious, which is an interesting take here. I probably would have taken the Caius instead. Like, forcing us to choose between alluring away the Malicious and then using it for a potential discard trap is something you should have in your brain, in your brain chemicals going on right now. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'll just allure here. I find Ryza and I'm just like, fuck, this is nuts. I have Wind Blast Ryza. Let's fucking go. I go ahead and I believe just attack. And then I set Book. I don't set the Typhoon because I'm a madman. They find a lure, they cast it, they don't find another monster, and they're just like super fucked here. They should probably just set the Blizzy, set the Icarus, all things considered, but I mean, they don't. So they get Wind Blasted, I pitch the Quick Draw, that sets the Icarus back, and then on my turn, I find Future Fusion, which is just insane. This card activates if they have Royal Oppression. I can chain the Typhoon from my hands. I get to send Malicious plus Treemore Frog. I have a couple of options here. I have an Alias in this deck list. I can actually send Dandy too, but Dandy doesn't let me rise at this turn, and I want to rise at this turn, so I go for this play instead. I go ahead and banish the Malicious, summon that, rise at the back row, put the back row on top, attack for 4,200, which is just massive points of damage. Pass the turn. They find, of course, the Mirror Force that they stacked, or that we stacked. They go ahead and activate Whirlwinds. Summon the Blizzy. They're shuffling away their Icarus. I don't know if this is correct, but they're probably thinking, I need to find a monster. I'm going to fucking lose. So they set their 4 back row. Totally chill. Totally vibing. That's turn 1 on Future Fusion. We go ahead and just attack with both. If they have Mirror Force, they're forced to do it now. And next turn, I'm getting Absolute 0, which is based. I set both my back row. Feeling like a god right now. Actually feeling kind of insane. They attack for 13. End phase, I am going to Typhoon the new set because I don't want to hit something that's chainable. And then on my turn, I get the Absolute 0. I'm able to attack the Blizzy. If they have Kalut, it'll trade 2 for 1. Puts them down to 800. They top deck Dark Armed with 1 Dark Engrave. Really, really fucked up draws. They just didn't hit a monster in the top 11 cards of their deck. Pretty much. We top deck Battle Fader. I'm going to BM a little bit, Debris back Treeborn. Treeborn attack the set because I know it's value, and then kill him. So, cool little kill there with the Treeborn, but the opponent just had a bad draw, honestly. And part of that was due to the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast plus Ryza combination. Against this deck, I sided in a bunch of Snowman Eaters and a Dark Dust Spirit, pretty much. We get Dust Shooted here, but it doesn't even matter. He takes the Sangan, which is actually kind of a weird choice. Again, looking at his hand, I'm like, damn, bro, your hand has no fucking monsters. But he does have Dust Crush, which is kind of a crazy combination. I go ahead and set Snowman Eater. It's a 50-50 on whether or not to set this or Dandelion, but I think it's better to set Snowman Eater, because if they have Shura, I just get fucked. He finds Shura. He does go for it. He does get fucked. So, I mean, it worked out. Sets the Mind Crush. I go ahead and Caius the Mind Crush, and he chains it, which is a good play on his part. He's able to hit our Gores, and then on his turn, he can Blizzy, take our Caius, and he's got a live deck dev off of it, which is actually kind of gross. One of the things I would have done if I was him is actually special summon this Bora too. It keeps your Icarus attack live, and then also presents more damage. Plus, you know, my hand doesn't really deal with it that well. I have fucking Dandelion. You're going to put 2 tokens into play. You're going to be able to pierce over those. So I actually think that this is it was a pretty big misplay from the opponent to not special summon the Bora there. I don't know why you wouldn't. It turns on your whole hand. And now your hand's actually kind of shit. Like, your hand is just the deck dev, which is like, okay, I guess. Here, we brain control the Yugioh, go ahead and attack the Caius. Ryza is just the nuts. It's so good to draw here. We attack the Caius, they deck dev, it hits our Dandy, we have Ryza Miracle. We're going to get 2 tokens. Yugioh is able to attack directly for 28. We sack the Yugioh for Ryza, and then target a token, remove it. On this turn, he finds Gale, and I think he makes another misplay this turn. He synchros main phase 2 into Armor Master. Why the fuck would you synchro into Armor Master? What? Why would you do that, dog? Why would you do that? You need... Okay, so if I top deck a hero, right? Let's say I top deck Evil Guy, and it goes to the grave because of deck dev. Or let's say I top deck Stratos, or whatever, you know? Let's say I top deck a hero. You need more targets for this Icarus attack to be live. Otherwise... Well, I guess, I mean, I'm just crashing the Absolute Zero anyway. But at the same time, it's like, you're losing your whole board to an Absolute Zero as opposed to just, well, I guess you're losing it anyway. I guess it doesn't matter. The only reason I'm thinking you wouldn't want to synchro is because Blizzy died. I don't know if there's not a reason to synchro. There might be, there might not be, but hey, here we are. They're going to deal 17. They're going to synchro into Blackwing Armor Master. They're going to set Heavy Storm and pass. I don't know why they would set Heavy Storm and not Icarus Attack too, but that's the play that they made. We reveal the Wind Blast to the deck dev, which is nice because Wind Blast is chainable to Heavy Storm and can remove Armor Master, which is awesome. We go ahead and Wind Blast that, pitch the Miracle Fusion. I'm like, on top of the world. I top deck Quickdraw, it dies. They top deck another deck dev. So they drew all 4 pieces of their hand tape. Kind of overloading on that a little bit in this matchup. I pick up Stratos. I'm like, fuck yeah. Let's go. Stratos beat. Search Evil Guy. Evil Guy will help set up for a Monarch play later on. That's why we search for him and not Alias. And he top decks another card that doesn't out the Stratos. I think just a little bit of a misuse of the Icarus attack and getting that Bora in play. There's actually some merit to having that Icarus attack live there. Like, let's say we have that turn, right? But they have Bora, Icarus, and deck dev all in play at once. They can actually Icarus attack, target Yugioh, Brain, or whatever, and then they have Caius deck dev for whenever they want to go for that, which is nuts. And they're just fine. Whereas, like, the way things turned out, we were able to take the guy, we were able to do all this shit, we were able to fucking... You get where I'm going with all this. You get what I'm saying. Weird sequencing from the opponent, pretty bad draws from them, even though they did have turn 1 Crush Shoot. They just didn't really have a lot of juice to follow it up with, so pretty lucky on our part we were able to take this game, I think. Okay, next replay. Next replay, we've got Igloo. This is a fun one. I am playing a deck that I actually want to play in a tournament at some point, but I don't know if my list is that accurate. This is Chainburn. I am playing Chainburn, and he is playing Diva Hero with main deck Mind Crush. That actually fucks me game 1. I go ahead and just set my cards. I pass. Goes for the Stratos. Searches Malicious. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I make Scapegoats. Probably didn't need to. Probably could have just taken that 18, but I wanted to not take too much damage against this deck. They can kill you out of nowhere. I summon Cyber Valley. I go for the draws. Draw 2 more. My hand's looking pretty clean as of right now. I go ahead and set Threatening Roar. I set the Just Desserts, the Accumulated Fortune, and the Reckless Greed. I don't know if Just Desserts is right to set here, or if it's right to set Ceasefire. I think Ceasefire is a little bit better because I can pump it up myself. But I don't know. No, I don't know. They summon Sangan. They try to attack. I just activate all my stuff. That's how it goes. We get the 1,000 points in. We get to draw 4 cards. And our 4 cards are kind of shit. No cap. I misuse this Ojamatrio here in a second, and it kind of cost me the game. Saying a lot of kind stuff here. Shout out to Igloo. He's a real one. Watches all the episodes, watches all the whatever. And I was like, I'm not recording right now, but I'll throw this in the replay review because this is a deck I am actually considering playing on September 4th. Okay, I summon Cyber Valley. He Wind Blasts it. I'm like, fuck me, dude. My hand is so ass. And I'm Reckless locked, and yeah, it's just bad. It gets worse. I was hoping he would activate Mally and I could chain the fucking Ojamatrio, but he just goes to main, summons Deep Sea Diva. He's able to make Android. It's like, it's all downhill from here. I've dealt 1,000 damage, and I'm behind so much. Android's gaining life. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for your boy. I fucking lose this game. I fucking lose it bad. I get to a point where, like, maybe I can stabilize. They make Mistworm. They bounce everything. They attack. And I try to activate Battle Fader, but he has fucking main deck Mind Crush, which is gross. So we go to the next game. Yeah, pretty much. And I think this game goes a little bit better for me. Yeah, I have a hot start this game. I sided in the Cyber Dragons and the Caius. The list that I have, for some reason, has Cyber Dragon and Caius on the sideboard, and that's kind of heat. There's a card I wanted to get into this deck, which is Injection Fairy Lily. I want to get 1 copy in here, and I want to get a Lava Golem in here too, but I'm not practiced enough with the deck to make changes, so I figured I'd just play the list that I have and go from there. Here they activate Future, revealing Absolute Zero, send the things, go ahead and summon Diva, and I'm like, fuck me. Android's pretty fucking good. Android's pretty fucking good against this deck. So here I'm going to give him an opportunity to make a mistake. I'm going to activate Ojamatrio. And he activates Malicious before I can even get a chance to activate Ojamatrio. So I'm like, perfect. I can chain Ojamatrio to that and get a 2,000 point chain strike in, which is just great for us. And we get to draw 3 cards. We pick up Battle Fader, which is great with our Caius. We pick up Morphing Jar, which is an FTK with this deck. If you ever draw Morphing Jar with this deck, you just immediately win. It's the best card in this deck by a lot. And he does mess up. He synchros into Thought Ruler to create room, and that's going to cost him. He's not going to be able to gain that crucial 600 life points. We're able to special summon Battle Fader here. No fucking whatever Mind Crush this time. He could Wind Blast the Battle Fader. Could do it. But he doesn't. And we're able to Caius, banish the Thought Ruler, and put him into a terrible position. We attack the Gilman. He doesn't Wind Blast it again, which is kind of strange. I guess it's because he has the Absolute Zero coming back, his Snowman. He can make a Goyo, take it, but at the same time, I might have Wind Blasted this little guy. He's going to end phase Wind Blast one of the back rows, and I'm like, alright, he hit whatever, didn't hit the Threatening Roar. I'm still not even going to Threatening Roar, though. I'm just going to let the Goyo take my dude. I think that's the plan, is just let the Goyo take the dude, and then on my turn, I can Cyber Dragon, attack over the Caius, set Morphing Jar, and set the other card that I was drawing. Oh, Just Desserts, yeah. I don't know if it's even right to attack the Caius here. I think it might be, but it's questionable. It's questionable. I just wanted to get it out of play because it does represent a lot of pressure. It also does represent a second attacker, which can attack into Morphing Jar and allow him to set back row on this turn. I kind of want to resolve Morphing Jar on my turn if possible. Unfortunately, we're not able to because they do get Absolute Zero this turn. And then, yeah, they get the Cyber, and then we hit the jar, which is nice. We're able to draw 5 new cards. And the 5 cards we do draw are actually pretty good. Dimension Wall can put them really fucking low, and Just Desserts can probably clean up the rest. If it doesn't, Sangan can find Jester Comfit, and then we can special Caius and banish itself for game. They find Double Miracle and a Dust Tornado. Dust Tornado is pretty good, but it's only going to be able to deal with one of these back rows. We do find the Jester Comfit up front. I'm able to set all 3 of these and my Sangan. They go ahead and dust the Wabaku. We still have Threatening Roar though, so we're big chilling. Sacks for Caius. Caius gonna banish my Sangan. I'm like, fuck. There's that. But at the same time, I'm like, I just dewall this, and then just desserts on my turn, and win the game, pretty much. Here they Rhoda for Stratos. Pass. Go ahead and Legacy just to see my next draw. Just desserts hit for 1,500, and then special and Caius for game. The next game is actually a really close one. It's a really, really close one. And it's kind of hype. It's kind of hype. I have opening hand all of this stuff, but you can see he's brought in a really smart card here. He's brought in Vanity's Fiend. And Vanity's Fiend is actually really good against this deck because it shuts off Gesture Confit, it shuts off Scapegoat, it shuts off Ojama Trio, it shuts off Battle Fader, shuts off potentially Lava Golem. So if you have a turn where you're able to set up Android and then you can set up Vanity's Fiend, it's really hard to win. It becomes really hard to win. So he's able to Stratos and then set the Dust. He's got double Evil Guy. He's got Vanity's Trigodia. I probably would have grabbed Malicious if I was him, but it's neither here nor there. We're just going to set 5 and pass. He end phase dusts, and he hits the Reckless, which is actually a really sucky one for him to hit for us, because those two cards would have been nice. If he had hit, like, Ojama Trio, that would have been good for us, because Ojama Trio doesn't do shit here. But here we are. Alas, here we are. Goes ahead and finds Malicious anyway, off the top, and then he sacks for Vanity's Fiend. I'm like, fuck. I can't use the trio, and now I'm down to 3 cards and activate, so I can't activate Fortune this turn either. Not only that, but it takes a card out of play for both Ceasefire and Secret Barrel, so not good. Not good. Vanity's Fiend gets me in for 2,400. I top deck Battle Fader, which is not a good top deck. Dimension Wall is a good way to start getting some damage in, so I can at least set up a turn where I have 4 Chain Links here. He attacks for that. I go for the 4 cards that I can activate. I am able to deal 500, 1,400, 1,900, and 4,300 total, I believe. Huh. Yeah, I believe it's 4,300 total. Yeah. And he drops to 37. Yeah, there we go. And we do find a second Dimension Wall. So I'm like, okay, I just need one more piece of burn. And this might get me there. I find Jar of Greed, and I'm like, that's a little slow. But I've got to set 3 and pass. He does have the Wind Blast. Able to pitch the Mally as well. This puts back our Jar of Greed. So it sets us back 2 full turns because Jar of Greed is slow. And we're looking pretty tough here. It's not looking good for the hero. It's not looking good for the home team. I top deck Jar of Greed, and I'm like, all right, I've got Wabaku. I've got, set Battle Fader. Maybe this can make something happen. He top decks Caius. I'm like, fuck. He's able to Caius the Battle Fader. We're basically forced to Wabaku here because now we're threatened with lethal damage. I top deck Just Desserts, and I'm like, maybe I can hit something off my jar, but it just finds another jar, and we lose. So close. I'm able to put him to 300, but yeah, unfortunately not getting this Ojama Trio online early on, and top decking some dead cards like Battle Fader really hurt me against the Vanity's Fiend. Very, very sick games against Igloo. Very, very hype. GG's to him. Okay, and the last replay I'm going to show you guys today, the very last replay, is with the fan favorite 6 Samurai, and I'm playing against Vayu. So that's the plan. I got to show you this one. This is a game against Thickmaster. I'm playing 6 Samurai. Game 1, I've got normal summon Zanji. I misclicked there. Get the United online. Set my 3 back row. I have Starlight Road. I'm feeling on top of the world this game. He finds Greffer. He goes Greffer pitch. Whatever. I don't care. I Mirror Force this shit. Get it out of here. Get that shit out of my face, dog. You don't even know me. You don't even know me. Get those fucking monsters in your graveyard. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. Okay, and then I summon Hand here to play around Gores. Send the United, draw 2, pick up Gateway. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm living right now. Upstart Goblin and D Prison, even more living. Go ahead and attack for 3,400. Big pressure. Not as big because we had to upstart, but still pretty big. We set the Gateway because I'm nasty like that. And then we pass. He goes ahead and he wrote us. He finds Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight's pretty good here. I can't cap. It's pretty good. It's going to allow him to make another Synchro Monster. So that is pretty good. It's not bad. But we do have the Deep Prison, so we're big chilling. He finds Book of Moon, but I don't know if it's right to book there. I don't know. maybe it is. Maybe it's better to save the book. You have return. Maybe you could set up something where you're like return book your guys so they stick around. I don't know. We have hand, so, and we also have Zanji, and Zanji just clears this on its own. So I don't think that's a great use of Book of Moon. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's actually a bad use of the Book of Moon. So yeah, a little bit of a misplay from the opponent there. They set the return. I pick up Heavy Storm. I'm like, lol. Activate Gateway. Go ahead and summon the Spirit, and then the Spirit I can equip to the hand and give us yet another draw, which is very nice. I love this card, Spirit of the Sixth Samurai. It's very broken. Zanji's gonna clear the Armor Master, and then we're just gonna pass. Here they return, and I'm like, sure. You just get 2 values and a Sirocco, but you need a conversion. And even that has to be a conversion through book. So he Sirocco pumps, normal summons Caius, banishes the hand. I'm like, alright. Sirocco attacks the Zanji. I'm like, I'll just book that shit. Nothing else can attack because you used the Sirocco effect. He tries to attack, and I'm like, nah, you use Sirocco, dog. You use Sirocco. I pick up Zanji, and I'm like, I could use the Zanji, or I could just go Spirit into Grandmaster, and then go from there, basically. And equip that to the Grandmaster, get an extra draw. This is actually a really nice showing for the Six Samurai deck. The next 2 games, I'm going to be honest, not so nice showing. Not so nice showing. But when you draw Gateway and you have the right amount of back row and removal and everything's just kind of working out and you have Starlight Road and your opponent's deck is like not really functioning, yeah, it's pretty fucking good. And also if they're throwing away their Book of Moons for free, the deck looks solid. The deck actually looks pretty fucking solid. Here you make Silverwind and I'm just like, alright. You can kill my Spirit. That's fine. Next turn, I'll just pump over the Silverwind with the Gateway. I pick up Gravity Bind, which is some new tech that I've picked up recently for this deck. I go ahead and summon the Yaichi, and then I pump up the Grandmaster a lot. Attack over that. Attack the set monster with Zanji, because it'll clear it even if it's Hamster. It's a set DD Crow main deck. Yaichi attacks for 1300. I set the Gravity Bind. They have Gores. I'm like, whatever, I have Gravity Bind. I am fucking living right now. They pick up Card Trooper, and I'm like, alright, mill your cards. Mill your pathetic cards, Yugi boy. Doesn't even matter. Blind Allure for no reason. Discards Dashu and Mirror Force. Attacks Yaichi, and I'm like, nah. I got the bind. I put him in the bind, baby. Alright, game 2. Game 2 is a little bit more questionable on our part. We have Double Road, which kind of screws us. They're not real enough, unfortunately. Summons the Sirocco, and we're forced to prison this bad boy. He doesn't even attack. He knew about the deprison. I activate Gateway. I normal summon Zanji. I try to pump up my Iroh. He lets that happen despite having Dust. He uses Dust here to bait us into swinging into Gores. Hits one of our Starlight Roads, and I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. He gets Gores 1800 token. We can deprison the Gores. Maybe get lucky. I don't know. Actually, don't know. His hand's fucking crazy. Look at this hand. This hand's Brain Dad, fucking Raikou. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good look. Here we deprison the Gores, like we said. Sets the Raikou. Sets the Brain Control for no fucking reason at all. But he does have this live return, which is kind of nice. We draw a Solemn, which is something. I just crash the monsters. I set the Solemn, and I'm like, I need to not die. He Raikous, hits the Gateway, and I'm just like, fuck. And he milled Vayu Sirocco, and I'm just like, we're just going to go to the next game. My back row don't do anything. I have a Typhoon. What am I doing here? You know what I mean? I'm going first. I boarded in Knock, and this is something that I hate. I need to make a mental note. Don't fucking board Knock. In the tournament on September 4th, this is my big mental note here. Don't board Knock. This card is so bad. Every time I board it in against Raikou decks, they just don't draw Raikou. They just don't draw it, and they draw the rest of their deck that doesn't set any monsters. So I need to not side this card in my September 4th deck list. It is a trap. It is a trick. It is not a good card. I need to avoid playing into that. Here, I'm forced to Solemn Sirocco. I probably didn't need to Solemn this, but I don't know. I just thought like maybe I can get him behind tempo if I top deck a Gateway, and I have Knock, so I'm like, if he's forced to like set Raikou to get mills going, maybe that's how I win this game. Unfortunately, I just draw more fucking shit-ass monsters. I get Torrentialed. Thankfully, these cards don't need to check for attack, so they still gain the counters. We can send it to draw 2. And we just find more shit monsters. Deck is so bad. The cards are all vanillas. I draw my fucking narrow sideboard cards. I just lose. I just lose to a fucking Vayu, I think. I think he just fucking, yeah, I just die. And I'm just like, bruh. It was so tilting. Oh man, it's tilting too because I think I only played 2 of the spirit, and I think I only played 2 of the hand as well. So I just drew both of the shitty. Oh, I might play 3 hand actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might be up to 3 hand, but I definitely only played 2 of the spirit. So yeah, drew my narrow sideboard cards. Don't side these; they suck. And don't play 6 samurai. It sucks. That's the end of my video for today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers again. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. I'm really excited to do some tournament sort of like conceptual videos in the next few weeks leading up to the September 4th tournament. I'm also really, really excited to compete again. I think it's going to be great for content. I think it's going to be great for my mental health, which has been suffering a lot lately. And I think it's just going to be something to look forward to. So I hope you guys enjoy all the tournament stuff that's going to be coming up. See you guys in the next vid. Peace.